I'm back with the steamy. I'm back with the sexual chemistry, bitch. We're doing booktube today, and we're going to be focusing on one of my favorite tropes. I love age gaps. There's something about an age gap romance that I just fucking love so much. It really gets me going, not gonna lie. I really enjoy it. I love a bit of a 20-year difference, bitch. Like, I fucking froth this shit, and I have some of the best age gap books to recommend. I don't know what it is about age gaps. I just love the fact that there's like a younger girl and an older guy, and he like just comes up in her life and just fucking bangs it. Love it. Love every minute of it. These are some of the steamiest books. Like, a lot of these that I'm going to mention today have some ripper sex scenes in them. So if you want some vagina flutters, bitch, read this shit. If you don't enjoy age gaps, I would not suggest you reading these books. But if you're like me, bitch, and love a bit of an older guy situation, then you're going to really love them. I have mentioned this book countless times in my booktube videos. I have to mention it again in this video because it is literally the essence of an age gap. Like, it is the best age gap book. It was my first age gap book that I ever read, and it's one of my favorites. It's definitely more on the lighter side. It's not like a dark romance. It's steamy as fuck. I'm talking about Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. Hun, honey bunny, yummy yummy. This is about Jordan, who is, from my memory, she's either 17 or 18. She is in a relationship with this guy who is an absolute douchebag, like just a fucking douchebag that treats her like shit and is just like not a good boyfriend. He gets kicked out of his apartment and they end up having nowhere to live. So he decides to take Jordan with him and move into his dad's house. So this boyfriend's dad is named Pike. He's in his late 30s, I want to say. He had his son quite young, and he doesn't really have a good relationship with him either. After a little bit, Jordan kind of starts getting a little bit of a thing for her boyfriend's dad. I have read so many slow burners before, but this one really gets you in your gut. Like, the chemistry and the tension between Pike and Jordan is unbelievable. One of my favorite age gap books. It will get you in your feels, and it will like, it's steamy, bitch. It's super steamy, but as I said, it's a slow burner, so it takes a while to get there. But there's all these little moments and you're just like, Again, I've mentioned this one so many times on my channel, and it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. But I have to, again, mention it in this video because it's a quality age gap book. This is Welcome to the Darkside by Giana Darling. This is a part of the Fallen Men series, which is an MC-based romance series. All of the books in the series are actually age gaps, but this one's by far my favorite. And it was the first one that I read too, so from the series, so it has like a special place in my heart. As I said, I've mentioned it before, so I'm not going to ramble on about it too much, but this is about Lou, who is 17, and Zeus, who is the MC president, who is 36 or 38. I just want to say right now, Zeus is such a sexy name. Especially for this fucking dude in this book. He's such a hunky spunk. And he's like a man. Like, he ain't no boy bitch. He's like a man. Like, he's an MC president. Like, he's everything and more. He actually saves Lou's life when she is 7 years old because she gets caught in between like a turf war between two bikie gangs and she gets shot. While Zeus goes to prison, they end up becoming pen pals. And then when she's 17 years old, he ends up coming into her life again. If you like more darker romances, I really highly suggest this one because it's MC, like a motorcycle fucking gang related. So there's a lot of other things in the storyline to do with like the actual MC club and stuff like that, and it's just so good. Okay, so we're going on to a book that I haven't recommended before, and I actually read this past week. So this is one of my favorite age gaps and my favorite student teacher tropes. So I love a student teacher. Naughty, naughty, forbidden, taboo, no, not let it go there. If you have read Misbehaved by Charlie Rose, I've recommended that one before. The student teacher trope, like storyline in that book is very similar to this one. It's just more darker, a bit more deeper. It's got more meaning to it. So this one is called Dark Notes by Godwin? Is that how you say it? Godwin? I think so. Basically, it's about this 17-year-old girl. Her life is just fucking sad, okay? Her dad died when she was 13 years old and her life just went to shit after her father died. But just before he did die, he sold his piano bar and used the money from the bar to pay for her school fees for this amazing like music school. She has had to sell herself to maintain the house that she's living in, like paying the bills and the mortgage and stuff. Her mum is a drug addict. Her brother went into the military, and then when he came out, he started beating her and abusing her. She has like a reputation at the school for being a skank because she sleeps around and everyone talks about it. The girls that she goes to school with bully her because she's not wearing the latest designer fucking clothing. So it's a new school year. She walks into class and she's got a new music teacher this year. And he turns to her and starts speaking to her as if she's a teacher. He didn't recognize that she was a student because she looks quite grown up. He's so attracted to her. He knows it's wrong because it's his student and she's 17, but that doesn't stop him. I loved this so much because it had a lot of BDSM shit in it, and I usually don't like that, but this was done in such a good way, in a vagina flutter way, and it really explained BDSM. So if you don't know much about it, you will learn a lot about it through this book. It was steamy as, like the sex was so fucking good in this book, and I loved this teacher. He is a sexy man. The next book I want to talk about is Voya by Fiona Cole. Bitch, if you want some steam, if you want some raunchy fucking shit, and you want some like real ass sex, this book is for you. So pretty much it's about this girl who is in college and her parents end up using all her savings on like a new car or their house or something, and she's fucking furious. She's like, fuck you, what am I meant to do now? That was meant to pay for my year at college. Her best friend suggests to her to go and have a meeting with her uncle, because her uncle owns this sort of club, like it's a sex club. It's not like a brothel and it's not like a strip club. I'll explain what it is in a minute. And she's like umming and ahhing. She's like, I don't know, it's really not my thing, I'm not that type of girl. And her friend's like, trust me, like just go have a meeting with my uncle and he'll explain what his club is all about. So she goes and has a meeting with her friend's uncle, and he explains to her this club is a really classy place to work at, and the members range from like married couples to single guys. They pay a certain amount of money to become a member. It's kind of like live porn. When you're a member of this club, you go there and you put in your preferences of what you enjoy and what you want to see. When you get there, there's an iPad and you pick the kink that you're into. So you might be into like BDSM. You may be into, I don't know, gangbang. And then there's like all these different types of options like solo masturbation and all this kind of stuff. And then you pick what you want to watch, and then you pick the actors that are going to be doing it for you. And then you get sent into this room that's like a black room. Then there is like a stage in front of you, and then these people who work at this club come out and perform it live for you. Bitch, do these places exist? Let me know, because it's fucking insane. If you're performing, you can't see the person who has picked your performance or you to do it, and it's really confidential. Like, you're not allowed to like interact with them, and they're not allowed to interact with you. You have a choice to either be in the room watching as the performance happens, or you can be in like the little black room where they can't see you. You're not allowed to touch them, you're not allowed to speak to them, nothing like that. Like, this girl is like, I don't know if I want to do gangbang, like what the fuck? And the uncle explains, like the owner, the uncle explains to her, if you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. Like, you can pick what you're down for doing. So she ends up taking this job, and she ends up picking like solo masturbation or something like that, and she ends up really enjoying herself. So then she starts like trying out different things and performing different types of kinks and stuff like that. This guy, who is a regular, he's a member, goes there all the time, he ends up going one night and seeing her, and then he picks her and watches her perform, and he ends up becoming obsessed with her. He's just really attracted to her. She gets him off when he watches her, so he's like obsessed with her, wants to see her all the time. He doesn't want anyone else watching her. He gets really like possessive, and she has no idea that this dude like keeps requesting to see her. And then she goes to college, and it's like her first day, and she walks in she walks into her classroom and meets her professor, and her professor is the dude that has been watching her at this sex club, who has been requesting her, and he just freaks the fuck out. He's like, oh my god, I've been going to the sex club, watching this bitch perform for me, and she's my student. It is so freaking good. It's such a good book. And this, there's actually a series all around this sex club called Voya. So if you're into this book and want to know more, there's heaps of other books related to it. And it's really good. I fucking really enjoyed this book. I've read so many books about high class brothels, strip clubs and stuff like that as well, but I've never ever read anything about like a live sex club porn thing. What the fuck is that? Like, let me know. I want to know. Is there one in Melbourne? Is there one? Let me fucking know. I would literally go because it intrigues the fuck out of me. It's like live porn. Like you go and pick your fucking gangbang male or male if you're into that. Like you just get to pick whatever you want. The next one is called Medicine Man by Saffron A. Kent. I would call this one a darker romance. So if you're into darker romances, you'll enjoy this one. There is some trigger warnings. This is based on a girl that suffers from really bad mental illness, and she is in a psych ward. She's really got some deep issues going on that she's trying to work through. This new hot fucking psychiatrist comes in, bitch, and she is just like drawn to him. She fucking thinks he's the sexiest man in the world, and honestly, in the book, he is a sexy man. He also is super drawn to her and fascinated by her because he himself has some issues, and yeah, a relationship blooms between the patient and the psychiatrist. As I said, if you have like some triggers when it comes to mental health and stuff like that, I'd probably steer away from this. In saying that though, I think this book has some amazing messages in it regarding if you suffer from mental health. Like there's a lot in there about how just because you suffer from mental health doesn't mean you're broken. It's a really good read. This book is one of my fucking favorite books. I could not stop thinking about this book when I read it. I ended up reading so many more books from this author just from this one. This one has like no deep meanings. This one is just like a fun fucking read. Really steamy. It's a bit of a slow burner. I really enjoyed it. This is Mr. Masters by T.L Swan. Oh my god, I could talk about this book for so long. I recommend this to everyone. Read this one. Read this book. It's about this 25-year-old Australian girl. So bitch, I think that's why I like it, because it's like relatable. I'm Australian and I'm nearly 25. She was in a long-term relationship. She ends up breaking up with her boyfriend. Her and her best friend decide to get working visas in the UK, in England. And she ends up applying for this nanny job. She's never been a nanny before. Like she's never looked after children before. She lied through her whole resume. Anyway, she scores this amazing fucking job, full-time, live-in nanny position with this widowed judge. They fly over to England. Her boss is going to be meeting her at the airport. This whole entire time, she thinks that this person who has hired her, who she's going to be living with and be the nanny to their children, is a woman. But then when she gets off the plane and she finds her name on the fucking card, it's a dude. A hot, spunky, fucking sexual looking 40-something-year-old, and she dies. She instantly dies. She's like, oh my god, I thought you were a woman. I love the fact that this book has so many really funny parts in it. Like she does some really embarrassing shit. Like oh my god, like the first thing she says to him is, I thought you were a woman. And he's just like, sorry, what? He ends up taking her back to the house, showing her around the house, and she starts becoming his nanny for his children. And he is a really like arrogant, angry judge. Like he is super wealthy too, like so much money. Like she's like, oh my god, this is a mansion. It's such a good read. The sex is amazing in it. I love this book so much. She ends up building really amazing relationships with his children, and he is kind of fucked up in the head. Like his wife died. It's one of my favorites. Oh, it's so fucking good, bitch. He is just like the sexiest man ever. Like, hello. After reading this, I became obsessed with the whole nanny trope, and I fucking read so many. Nothing beats Mr. Masters. Yes, bitch. Look at that front cover. Look at that cover of that book, bitch. Tell me you would not get excited if you were raising his children. Oh, this one I read recently, and I ended up going down a fucking rabbit hole with mafia books after this. So this is a mafia age gap. Oh, it's so good. so the next one is called Sweet Temptation by Cora Reilly. And if you know me well, you know I fucking love Mafia storylines, fucking all about the Mafia life. I'm all about it. I didn't know anything about Cora Reilly, and she's written so many Mafia books. Like there's the Born in Blood Mafia Chronicles, and then there's a Twisted, what's it called? The Cora Chronicles as well, which is a spin-off from the Born in Blood. I read both of those straight after reading this, and this, even though this is a standalone, this ties into that as well. So if you really enjoy this, fucking check those books out because they're amazing. I've read quite a few Mafia romances, but Cora Reilly I feel like does it the best. And she has so much knowledge. Like I ended up Googling a lot about the Mafia, and heaps of shit that she talks about in her books. I'm like, that's actually a thing. Okay, so it's about this girl who is about to turn 18 and her dad is in the Mafia. Now, I know this because I've read all these books, but a lot of them, I don't know if that actually happens in the real life Mafia. I'm assuming so. I'm assuming this happens a lot. In the Mafia world, well, in the books that I've read, arranged marriages happen quite often. The fathers kind of like organize between their capos to fucking marry their daughters off so they can gain more power, higher status and stuff like that. And he organizes her to marry one of the underbosses, and he sits her down and he's like, honey, you're about to turn 18. It's time for you to get married. Me and your mother thought that so-and-so would be a good choice. And she just dies. She's like, goes stark white, and she's like, are you fucking serious? One, he's an underboss. Two, he's meant to be like one of the most ruthless, brutal, fucking badass underbosses. Three, his wife just died. Four, he's 32 years old, dad. And her dad feels like really bad about it, and her mum's like so excited. Her mum's like, oh, don't be stupid. Like, he's an underboss. Do you know what that's gonna mean for you and your future family? Like, you know, we're going up in the ranks. She ends up marrying this dude, and he is so fucking scary. Like, I would be shitting myself if I was 18 years old marrying a 32-year-old who wasn't just a normal 32-year-old, was a 32-year-old who had children, a dead wife, and was a brutal fucking underboss of the Mafia who like skins people alive. It was such a good read. I started this at like 10:30 at night. Don't know why I started it that late. I read it until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then woke up in the morning and then fucking read it and ended it, and I could not stop. And as I said, I ended up reading so many more Mafia books from Cora Reilly because of this one. Last one I want to talk about is actually a novella. So this is not a long book. It's 184 pages, and I literally just read this. All know about Webster, bitch. She is ruthless with her writing. She fucking writes a sex scene like no other author. Steamy sexual fucking bliss. This one is quite controversial, just like the rest of her fucking books. So this is called Bad, Bad, Bad. And it's about this girl who is 17 years old, and she fucking has a thing with her dad's best friend. And it is so good. As I said, it's a novella, so there's no slow burn. It jumps straight into it. This actually, this novella entails two stories. So there's one between the girl and her dad's best friend, and then the second part of the novella is about her dad and her best friend. And her dad is actually the sheriff. And these girls, they're 17, about to turn 18, and the dad and the dad's best friend, they are in their late 40s. It is so fucking good. So many people don't like this, but bitch, I was like squealing. I was on the couch last night reading this, and I was fucking squealing. And Cooper was like, are you okay? And I was like, hun, come here right now. I'm just kidding. Or am I? That is it for all of my favorite top picks when it comes to the age gap trope. I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I don't know why I love age gaps so much. I think it's because I'm actually getting older. I'm at that awkward age where I'm like, you're hot, but so is your dad. It's a thing. I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. If you enjoyed this video, do not forget to give it a big thumbs up. It helps me out so much. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.